Yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Three minutes start ಮಾಡೋಣ.
Is my PPT is visible,
Oh. Yes, sir.
Dr. Sharad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. I'll continue.
Yes, sir. Sir. Thank you, sir.
I'll continue. Okay. Okay. Very good evening, everyone. My dear aspirants of all Padartha Vijnana students from all over Karnataka. So it's a great opportunity provided for you by the team Aptas in order to extend the support for your exam preparation of RGHS University final exams. So we, the teachers, are very happy and very enthusiastic to extend our support for you all. So let us begin with the exam orientation of Padartha Vijnanam Evam Ayurveda Evam Ayurveda Itihasa. So let us go through with the initial slides in the entire session of half an hour. So we will be just looking out the general aspects of exam preparation, in and outs of studying for exams we'll be going through. So we all are in now the era of Corona, isn't it? So in this time, so we have exams too. So we all are, especially the student fraternity, is all suffering with this worry, anxiety, headache, tension, fear, pressure, in total feeling of stress, isn't it? So you are at the verge of finishing even the practical records, isn't it? So this become the exam preparation became a great burden for you at present. So let us try to resolve by knowing the in and outs of exam preparation. And this session, I'm sure that it will be a stress buster for you all. So whenever the term Padartha Vijnana or whenever the subject Padartha Vijnana is heard, so the students will fear a lot. How to learn first of all, how to tackle it in the exams, how to get through. All these questions come into mind. Actually, Padartha Vijnanam is not a difficult subject. I too agree. In the initial phases, it becomes little bit difficult. But if we know the subject logically, then it is not a burden for the students. If we accept the facts of Padartha Vijnanam, then it becomes very easy for even exam preparation also. So let us go through with the facts. Actually, the Padartha Vijnanam is very easy subject to understand. And the concepts which are explained in the subject are matches with the real life experiences where, for example, darshanas, whenever we read it, it matches with our life, isn't it? So some of the concepts of Padartha Vijnana can be logically placed, can be logically thought of, isn't it? And all the concepts is applicable. And finally, these Padartha Vijnanam concepts are very easy to put forward in the exam, to easy to convey in the examination for the evaluators. So if we know these facts, if we go with these positive affirmations, positive thoughts, then the exam preparation of Padartha Vijnanam become very easier one. So we all know that this Rubik cube game, isn't it? Whenever somebody offers for you a Rubik cube to solve it, so you become entirely confused, isn't it? So this level is called as incompetency level. So we will not be incapable of tackling it, solving it, isn't it? But when a solving technique has been given to you, when solving technique has been provided for you, then it becomes very easy to solve this Rubik cube game, isn't it? So that becomes a competency. Actually, only 5 steps are there in solving this Rubik cube. So if we know it, if we thoroughly can do it, then we get a competency, we get the ability to do it rightly. In the same way, if we prepare well for exams, then it is not a big issue. If we don't prepare in the incompetency phase, what happens? Before the examination, we feel that kuch to hua hai, kuch ho gaya hai, and during the exams, we feel that sab kuch alag hai, sab kuch naya hai, isn't it? This is nothing but an incompetency level or incapability of tackling it because of lack of skills. So this series of orientation programs given by all experts will be definitely bringing you the competency in order to tackle this Padartha Vijnanam examination and get through this Padartha Vijnanam examination with a greater scores. So this, what I said, is adapting the competency behavior. It is an adaptive behavior. It is not that this techniques, whatever we are going to say, is only for the students who are more IQ. No, it is not like that. So it is for everyone. Whoever practice it, they can be able to adapt this behavior. And we know that a great saying is there: the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is just a practice. So whoever practice these techniques, they come up with flying colors. Whoever don't, on the contrary, they become failure. So it is nothing but this entire orientation is all about developing these adaptive skills and making you to feel those adaptive skills. Thereby you can handle effectively this Padartha Vijnanam examination. So we have to know, we have to accept that knowledge-based study is different and exam-based study is different. At present, what we need is not knowledge-based study. It is exam-based study. We cannot read the entire, all volumes, all different textbooks of Padartha Vijnanam for exam preparation. No, it is not possible for a human brain to capture all the things from all textbook. It is just an exam-based study is needed. A systematic way of reading is very, very essential to tackle this Padartha Vijnanam examination. So in this session, let us go through with the exam-oriented techniques and tips. Hope at the end you will be able to recall few of the techniques and tips. So before that, let us see the in and outs, the structure of RGHS Padartha Vijnanam University examination patterns or the structures. So you know that Padartha Vijnanam is having two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. In the paper 1, it is meant for 100 marks, where part A carries 50 marks, part B carries other 50 marks. In the question paper, recently the question paper setup has been little bit changed. There is no part A and part B in the question paper, but in the syllabus part A and part B is there. From part A part of the syllabus, 50 marks questions will be there in the final exams, and in the part B, the 50 marks questions will be there. Whereas in paper 2, it also carries 100 marks, where part A, it carries 75 marks, and part B, that is Ayurveda Itihasa part, carries 25 marks. So this you have to keep in mind. So these in the questions in the question papers, either in paper 1 or paper 2, it will be given under 3 sections. First one is long essay, where 10 marks questions will be given for you. Second, short essay, where 5 marks questions will be given for you. And the third one is short answers, where the 3 marks questions will be given for you. In the paper 1, total, as I said, it is 100 marks. Among these 100 marks, 2 questions will be there which carries 10 marks each, and 10 questions will be there which carries 5 marks. Further, 10 questions will be there which carries 3 marks. In the paper 2 also the same thing, 2 question carries 10 marks, 10 question carries 5 marks, and further 10 question carries 3 marks. So let us see the question paper. This is the recent question paper of 2020. The exam held in 2020 March. So this is the paper 2. It is this is the paper 1. See the long essay, short essay, and short answers. This is the question paper of paper 2 of Padartha Vijnana Ayurveda Itihasa. See, the total number of questions are 22. See, it is in a order. It is given from 1 to 22 questions, so that it helps for you in the marking of the answered questions in the answer booklet given. This is the sample of the RJHS booklet. So this booklet carries 50 pages. 50 pages. Keep in mind, it is very essential. Specific space allotted for specific questions. The question number will be printed in the answer booklet itself. So for 10 marks, 5 pages will be allotted. So in that 5 pages only, you have to write 10 marks question. So you cannot extend it to the very next page. Likewise, for 5 marks, 3 pages will be allotted, and for 3 marks, 1 page will be allotted. So whatever the answer is there, you have whatever the quantity of answer is there, that you have to write in this only. So whenever you open the booklet, it is a ruled sheet which it has approximately 25 to 28 lines, where it is very larger in size, not the ruled, not similar to the ruled book note. It is quite longer. Further, whenever we study the Padartha Vijnanam, before we study, we must have some mindset. This is very essential. The first mindset we should have, we should present very uniquely. So otherwise, what happens if you go on writing without a unique presentation, the evaluator don't find your unique points. Thereby, you may be in chance of getting very less marks. So that's why presentation should be a great one here. Second is more of diagrams, charts, and tables. More than the paragraph-wise writing, it is better to include point-wise writing, and also the answer content should have more diagrams, charts, and tables. Further, it should be enriched with examples. Whatever you write, whatever the question you write, please give examples. Whenever Anumana question is asked about, for example, Anumana definition is asked, just write an example also. Pratyaksha is asked, just write example also, so that your answer weightage will be more. Further, the mindset number 4 is multiple applications you have to write. Various concepts you will be studying in Ashtanga Hridayam or in anatomy. So those all concepts, wherever it is suitable in Padartha Vijnanam, there you can write as a part of application. This is quite essential, especially for 10 marks questions and 5 marks question. Evaluator expects multiple application, so you may be in need of writing those applications. So let us now go through with strategies of tackling Padartha Vijnanam examination. The first strategy should be the exam statistics. You must have a look on the question papers of previous examinations. So this is very, very essential. You should not study blindly. Whenever you open a particular topic, you have to go through with the question paper, which are all question has come. So that should be enlisted first. Then you have to read accordingly. The strategy number 2 is exam suitable notes making should be done. So you cannot study for exam from the text itself. or from the compiled notes itself. No, you cannot study. The human brain cannot accept it. So if you study from the textbook, what happens is, so you may have to cut short, you may have to elaborate sometimes, isn't it, in the examination, if you study from the textbook. Otherwise, if you have your exam oriented notes, then you can easily brush up whatever there in the notes, the same thing you can reproduce in the examination. The third strategy should be self-study should be done. The fourth strategy is very essential one we all lack is group study work. It is quite essential to memorize the concepts and retain it. First, let us go through with exam statistics. This is the example how exam statistics you have to make. So whenever you study, for example, Karya Karana Siddhanta, before studying it, you have to go through with question paper and you have to note down the important 10 marks questions which asked for about Karya Karana. See the examples of previous year question papers. Explain the opinion regarding the manifestation of Karya and Karana and utility utility of Satkaryavada. Second is explain Satkaryavada and its application in Chikitsa. Third, explain Satkaryavada, discuss its significance in Ayurveda. Fourth, explain Karya Karana Siddhanta and its clinical importance. See here, the entire thing is roaming, or the entire 10 marks question is roaming around Karya Karana Siddhanta. So it is quite essential. See, these are the 5 marks questions. Directly they ask Swabhava Paramavada, discuss Pilupaka and Pitarapaka, Kshanabhanguravada, Paramanuvada. See 3 marks questions, Anekantavada, Kshanabhanguravada, Pilupaka, Swabhava Paramavada. See, if we go through with the question paper, the type of question they ask, what is the current trend, what is the logic, what is the trend, everything we will be knowing. Based on that, we can start studying. Once we go through with the question papers, then the second important strategy should be making notes. It is quite essential. Making a compiled notes is different and making exam oriented notes is quite different. So which one? Okay, once again I'll stop sharing and I'll once again. Okay. Is it visible, Sharath? Visible, no? Okay. 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 The what I was talking is exam notes preparation. So classical notes preparation is quite different, and exam notes preparation is quite different. What happens is whenever we compile everything from multiple textbooks, the matter will be huge, and that much matter will not be useful to write in the examination. So what we have to do is exam oriented notes should be prepared in such a way that how you will be writing in the exam, in the same way you have to prepare the notes. Some of the guidelines to prepare notes are you must use both inks and language to write the notes and to make notes. Inks and is both English and Samskrita words should be mixed or blended in your answer in your notebook, so that you will be used to write the Samskrita words, so that you will be having easiness while writing the Samskrita words, and also to grasp the thing, to also to retain the things. Further, all technical terms should be written in Sanskrita. For example, pramana, pariksha, prameya, pramata. So those all technical terms, whatever we have, these all technical terms should be written in Sanskrita only. Should not be written in English script. So it should be written in Sanskrita, that is Devanagari script only, while preparing notes and also even in the examination, because evaluators will be usually searching for those technical terms. Point-wise narration is very, very essential. Then important shlokas should be written in the notes with its content. Then attractive notes should be made. So this is just an example for notes preparation. See here, point-wise narration has been done on the concept of manas. Say tabular form is written. See here, smart work is done. Further, along with this exam-based notes, some supporting materials also we should have. If supporting materials are there, then it is very easy to understand, very easy to memorize the concepts. First, we should have a separate shloka book, or it is written or in printed format. Numerical notes, or for example, numerical notes refers for pramana types. Then pratyaksha types, anumana types. So those all types, whatever we have, that should be listed separately, and that should be kept for reading oftenly. This is a numerology notes. See Mahabhuta 5, Tanmatra 5, Sharirika Guna 20, Paradi Guna 10. So such numerology notes, if you have, then it is very easy to study and memorize. Then you must write diagrams in the notebook, so that it becomes attractive with your notes, and the same thing, it can be captured well and presented in the exam. So some songs or rhymes can be matched with any of the shlokas and learned. Flashcards can also be prepared in order to highlight the important concept. Recordings can also be done. Some of the important concepts can be self-recorded and listen whenever it is possible. Once the exam statistics and notes is ready, then you can go for self and group study. So studying, general rule is read 5 times and say 5 times. Initially, you must read every concept for 5 times and say it by closing the notebook for 5 times. Skimming technique should be adopted. Skimming refers for memorizing the important points of that particular concept. Another technique is question, that is ask yourself and answer. So whenever you are free, ask yourself suddenly the question and you only give answer, so that you will be prepared for the question and answer. Further, various acrostic method also can be used. For example, in order to memorize the Panchamahabhuta, some acrostic techniques like Prithvi and Jaya visit the temple again. So the first letter of this acrostic reveal Panchamahabhuta. P, that is Prithvi, J, Jala, V, Vata, T, Tejas, and A, Akasha. Another one example is Dinesh and Ganesh kept vehicle at service station. This is just for Shad Padartha, Dravya, Guna, Karma, then Samavaya, and further, how to by heart shloka. This is very essential. All the students will ask usually the same question: how to by heart shloka? It is very difficult, very difficult. So one of the best way is do it by heart. Don't do it by compulsion, or don't do it by the for the sake of examination. So do it by heart with a great purpose. Then the shlokas can be memorized well. Then listen, whoever recite the shloka, listen to them often so that you can also get the shlokas properly. Know the meaning. So first study the meaning of the shloka, then it becomes very easy to understand the shloka. Then know the speciality of that particular shloka so that it becomes easy while by hearting. Set a particular tune. Most of the students do this, setting a tune, either a film tune or any classical song tune is matches with particular shlokas. Then spaced repetition should be done. That is, spaced repetition refers for once in 1 hour or once in 2 hour, recalling and revising the particular shloka, so that we can, if we do it 10 or 15 times in a day, then it is called as a spaced repetition. It helps a lot to memorize the shlokas, so that the memorize can be the shlokas can be encoded properly in the brain, consolidated, and whenever you need, it can be retrieved. Further, you have to practice by writing. Simply reading or rote learning is not sufficient to tackle the examination. Writing is also quite essential. Or fix a particular time to write. 1 minute paper you can take up whenever you are free. 1 minute paper refers for, it is a 1 minute challenge where you can think of a particular topic, how much content you can recall in 1 minute that can be written. So that is called as 1 minute paper. Technical terms should be can be memorized and can be written in Samskrita only and practiced. Further important technique is solve the question paper and get assessed. So whenever you find free time, you have to solve multiple question papers, multiple questions, and get assessed by your seniors or by your teachers. Once again, based on the feedback, you can write it again, so that whatever concepts you studied, that will be consolidated in your brain properly. So while writing, while preparing the notes and while writing in the examination, these all smart arts should be used. For example, the first one is rectangle. Whenever the Chaturvida Pariksha is asked, just you can draw a rectangle, and in the corners you can write that Pratyaksha, Anumana, Aptopadesha and Yukti. So for example, another triangle is there. Whenever Abhava is asked, Pragabhava, Pragabhava, Anyunya Bhava, Atyanta Bhava. So that you can write. So these all smart works, arts you can make use of. Further, sharing is quite important. Studying is important. Writing is important. Likewise, sharing is also quite essential. Discuss with your friends. You know, it is a talk show panel or a TED talk where a particular individual will be talking it for 5 or 10 minutes about the entire concept. So you can also do a TED talk with your friends. You can just mimic it. Teaching is also one of the important way of sharing, so that you can remember many things. And sharing with the teachers is quite a great idea. You can, whenever you can share with the teacher, you will be sharing with boldness. You will be getting courage. You will not be having any sort of fear. So your brain will be trained, so that in the exam also, whenever the question comes, so you can write it very well. So hope this half an hour session I could able to give a brief note on the various in and outs of RJHS University examination with regard to Padartha Vijnanam and Ayurveda Itihasa, and also various techniques and tips to tackle Padartha Vijnanam examination. With this, I thank the organizers, the team Aptas, for providing us such a great opportunity to stand before you virtually to connect with all the students. With this, I'll wind up. Thank you.
Guiding students regarding the preparation methods and easy techniques to remember to by heart shloka, and how the question paper, how the answer paper will be, and all the minute details you have guided, sir. So much thanks for you on behalf of Team Aptas. Now I will request Dr. Chaitanyam, Professor in SDM College of Ayurveda, Hassan, who will be dealing the examples of few questions from the paper 1 part A section. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharad. I hope. Just a minute, please hold on. Is it visible now? No, not visible. Now? Not it. Just a minute. Can you see me? Yes, yes, yes. I'll be sharing. Just a minute, please. It's visible now. Okay. Yes. Am I audible? Okay. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Manjunathaya Namaha. Om Shri Dhanvantaraye Namaha. Bowing my uh, hello. Hello. Is it audible? Okay. So without delay, I think I will start with my presentation. So I have been allotted with part A, though I may not be justifying the entire part A of paper 1 because it is difficult to wind up within half an hour, especially for different students of different colleges. So there will be a lot of differences. So that is the reason for it. I'll be selective to deal with some part or some portion of part A. Okay. So before I start, so I have made this slide for all people. I mean to say for all first years who are going to face examination. So every person, every first year think that it is a difficult subject. We are not understanding it.
Yes, sir.
And many people ask us that why we need Padartha Vijnana, why we have to learn this, sir. So I have some suggestions. So, and those suggestions you should fill it in your mind and start studying. That will give you a very good insight into the Padartha Vijnana subject. Okay, so I have made some few points. With that point, I will enter into the subject. So, for example, think Padartha Vijnana as a science or a scientific background with the logical thinking. So, do not think that this is not a scientific background subject. Understand, no? See, I can understand that before you enter into BAMS course, you have studied physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, and there you feel that it is science because you will learn lot of theorems, because you will learn that theorems are applied to many things, isn't it? No. So here also the same thing is there. Padartha Vijnana, you have to feel that it is a science. Just for example, pramana. Pramana, you have to think that it is with a scientific background. Why you need pramana? Do you need pramana in understanding yoga? Do you need pramana in understanding uh, medicine? Do you need pramana to apply that? Isn't it? No. So likewise. So it is filled with the philosophical concept. So if every student asks us this question, why we need philosophy? We are medicine students, medical students. We require to know medicines. But the syllabus says philosophical concepts. So somewhere we are not getting, somewhere we are not understanding. So the solution is philosophy and science both are knowledge centric. Even philosophy, if you can elaborate philosophy, it also says the same thing. Philosophia, probably you have learnt it. And you know very well about science, isn't it? No? So philosophy also puts forth some theorems. Science also put forth some theorems. The applied part is also there. Understand? No? For example, so I have given two examples here. So you might have studied a theory of refraction, isn't it? No, in your physics, and the applications are also there. So why you may have a question in your mind: why I need to know about the theory of refraction? Why I need to know about angle of refraction? Isn't it? No. So then the answer will come yes. So some or the other day, the application of this refraction you are going to see in spectacles or prism or many other such theories, optical physics, isn't it? No, optometry. So this theory is applied in many places. So likewise, another example, for example, nuclear physics. So you have studied the theorems of nuclear physics, and you also learnt about the application part of it. For example, MRI, etc. Isn't it? No. So likewise, Padartha Vijnana is also a Vijnana, a special science, which is dealing with Pada Artha. Pada Artha. Pada means word, Artha means the meaning, isn't it? No, already you know this. Just like a dictionary. So dictionary, a coined word or a technical word is described. Likewise, Padartha Vijnana is an entrance for a Ayurveda student to know about some technical terminologies like pramana, prameya, pramata, some philosophies, isn't it? No, some dravya, guna, karma, samanya, vishesha, samvaya, like this, abhava, and you are going to apply these all in the future. I mean to say in future in the sense in your second year, third year, fourth year, isn't it? No, wherever you are learning Ayurveda, there all you are applying it. So with this background, I will just move on to some questions. Understand? No. So one more thing is that I have omitted a few portions. Portions in the sense Ayu, Ayurveda, Ayu Paryaya. I hope nobody is having plenty of questions in that. Isn't it? No, Ayu, for example, Ayurveda, it is already available in the textbooks, and you are, I hope you are very familiar with that. And there will be questions from that portion also. So I'll be focusing on a little different or a difficult subject or a difficult portion of it, especially Darshana part. Many of students face difficulty in understanding Darshana. So what is meant by Darshana? we know that it is philosophy, why this philosophy is required, all those things. So my focus in this presentation will be towards questions and answers in your examination. So I will be dealing in the same way. So in a question paper, you can get a 10-mark question. So a 10-mark question may comprise of 2 or 3 portions. So that 3 or 4 portions may be like this: define darshana, explain nyaya darshana. Okay, so or define darshana, explain yoga darshana. Or what is darshana? Explain sankhya darshana. So or define darshana, write the classification of darshana and the importance of nyaya darshana in Ayurveda, or importance of different darshana or all darshana in Ayurveda. Okay, so and your teachers might have told you that the darshanas are the basic basic science or basic need to understand this Padartha Vijnana. Okay, so you have to understand, or you have to apply like that, and you have to answer. For example, define darshana, you have to write what is meant by definition. I mean to say defining darshana, drushyate niti darshana, you have to write the meaning of that. And even what is darshana also, you are writing in the same way, isn't it? No? So, and all of you must know that in entire Padartha Vijnana and even in other subjects, maybe like in Charaka Samhita or any other subjects in Ayurveda, so definition or characteristic features or lakshana is one and the same. So with this, I'll move on to classification of darshana. Classification is manifold, like Vaidika darshana, Avaidika darshana. The famous classification is Astika darshana and Nastika darshana. In your examination, this is expected. Classification of darshana, isn't it? No, since it is a combined question, combined in the sense define darshana, classify them, and write about nyaya darshana. For defining darshana, 2 mark. For classification of darshana, 2 mark. And explaining nyaya darshana, maximum 6 marks, isn't it? No, so you need to be skeptical here. So you should not waste time like writing many things about it, or writing few things about defining darshana, but writing more thing about classification of darshana, thinking that anyhow I am answering the question. No, you should know the weightage of question. Understand? No, the weightage of question, for example, define darshana is for 2 marks, and you need to answer that for 2 mark only. And however, you should fulfill the objective of that question, isn't it? No, define darshana, you should not write anything other than that. Only you should define it. So likewise, classification of darshana, you classify it. Classify in a very simple way. So the darshanas are classified into Astika darshana, Nastika darshana. Write about Astika darshanas. So write about this Shad darshana or 6 darshanas, isn't it? No. So that is why you have to finish it. If the classification of darshana is asked for 5 marks, then that is a different scenario, and you need to write it a little bit more for that. Okay. Then so the other chances of a question are basis of classification. On what basis these darshanas are classified? Say maybe like on the basis of acceptance of Ishvara, Veda, Punarjanma, isn't it? No, Atma. All these things, the darshanas are classified into Astika, Nastika, Vaidika. All these things you have to write it, if this question is a basis of classification. So and then why darshanas are evolved? See, when the man became comfort, no, so then he started thinking about who are we, from who created this earth, who created this universe, isn't it? No. So what is our job here in this? We are born here on this universe or on this earth. So what is our job? Like this. So there are some questions which are already there in the textbooks. So you need to go through that. These are some questions which are there in our mind also. Probably we have asked our father, mother, or our parents. So generally, like a small kid is asking, what So, father, your name is like this. Who is my grandfather? Who is my grandfather's father? Who is my grandfather's grandfather? Grandfather's grandfather's grandfather. So then, naturally, we don't have answer for that, isn't it? No, or hardly we can trace 2 or 3 generations. Anyhow, so these questions have been answered, and these questions have been put forth, and similarly, the answers for these questions started they started answering this question in their own way, and the same has become darshanas. Okay, so without wasting some more time, so I'll move on to some specific points. So, for example, explain Nyaya Darshana. So, I am taking only one thing. It does not mean that only Nyaya Darshana is important. Any Darshana can be asked. I have included in the bracket. Say, for example, explain Nyaya Darshana, explain Vaisheshika Darshana, explain Sankhya Darshana, explain the theories of Yoga Darshana, isn't it? No, in any way it can be asked. And majority of the answer is expected from this part. Okay, explain Nyaya Darshana. Most part, however, most writing towards Nyaya Darshana will give you more marks. Okay, so in that portion of Nyaya Darshana, you have to concentrate and you have to write it. So similarly, importance of Nyaya Darshana in Ayurveda. So this is also a question which is being asked. It is not only importance of Nyaya Darshana, importance of any Darshana, importance of Yoga Darshana, Sankhya Darshana, or how the principles of Nyaya Darshana is applied in Ayurveda. Same question, isn't it? No. So that we have to understand that Ayurveda is filled with some theories which were present in these darshanas. Okay, so Nyaya Darshana has got some theories like Karyakarana, Siddhanta, and they have prepared this theory, or they have postulated this theory for their purpose. And Ayurveda thought that, okay, this is a very good concept, we can use it for our purpose. And they have taken it and they have used it. So that is how the darshanas are used in Ayurveda. So similarly, any concept which is there in Ayurveda is, I'm not saying that all concepts. There are some special concepts which are from Ayurveda side also, but many concepts have been taken from these darshanas, especially Astika darshanas. Why especially Astika darshana? Because Ayurveda is also very nearer to Astika darshanas. Okay, so I am taking one example of how you have to present Nyaya Darshana. Okay, so because it is very important for anybody to read, write, isn't it? No. So with that perspective, I am going to narrate Nyaya Darshana. So what you have to do is prepare some points like this. So you know that Akshapada Gautama is the propounder. So you need to know the synonyms of Nyaya Darshana. Then it is easy for you to write an entire thing about Nyaya Darshana. How? For example, Anvikshaki is a synonym for. What is meant by Anvikshaki? Anvikshaki means revision, re-inspection. So actually, Nyaya Darshana is behind knowledge, true knowledge, Prama. Okay. So how we can get this true knowledge? By revision, re-inspection. For example, you apply Pratyaksha Pramana. You are not satisfied. Then you apply Anumana Pramana or Shabda or Upamana Pramana or any other Pramanas. Then you confirm your knowledge, re-inspect your knowledge which you have received, confirm it again and again. So that is the aim of Nyaya Darshana. Then Vada Vidya, see, they are behind knowledge. This Nyaya Darshana is behind knowledge. So for that purpose, they say that do debates, Vada. And they have put forth some rules and regulations to do Vada. How you should do Vada. Understand, no? So what is meant by Paksha, Pratipaksha, and how Paksha should propose, how Pratipaksha should oppose. All those things have been described in Vada Vidya or this Nyaya Darshana. Because when somebody does debate Vada, The same thing is accepted in Ayurveda also. Vada is accepted in Ayurveda. So it is told in Charaka Samhita that Bishak should do Vada with the another Bishak. Understand, no? Ultimately, the debate will yield you knowledge. Ultimately, Anvikshaki will yield you knowledge. Then Hetu Shastra gives importance to Hetu in Anumana Pramana. That is why it is referred as Hetu Shastra. Okay, of course, we will learn that in later slides. Then Pramana Shastra, because this gives importance to the 4 Pramanas. So that is why you need to know the synonyms of Nyaya Darshana. Once you know the synonyms of Nyaya Darshana, you will remember everything, what you have to write, and then subsequently you can write it one by one. See, I have included this picture. You can see this picture of Gautama Maharshi. You can see that here you can see Akshapada, isn't it? No. So if you can see this picture, you can remember Akshapada Gautama, isn't it? No. So you can see one Aksha. Aksha means I. That is why he was been referred as Akshapada. Okay. So you can see here a textbook referring or written Shastra. Okay. So primarily, see, this Nyaya Darshana is primarily the conditions of correct knowledge, and by applying various tools to get knowledge, that is pramana. So your entire second paper, no, the entire pramanas what you are learning is the contribution of Nyaya Shastra. So without Nyaya Shastra, you cannot learn the pramanas which have been told in Ayurveda for the purpose of Roga Gnana or the treatment. So discovers the validity or invalidity of knowledge. Epistemology, you might have heard about this word. Epistemology is a Western coined word. Then Pramana Shastra is the word which is used in Indian scenario. So the tools applied to get the correct knowledge. So that is told. So you need to write about 16 Padartha for getting moksha. These are the 16 Padartha. I hope you know this, or you can get it from the textbook also. For example, Pramana, Prameya, Samshaya, Prayojana, Drishtanta. You need to by heart this shloka. And not only by hearting this shloka, you need to know how you have to write it. Say, for example, Pramana, instrument of knowledge. Prameya, subject of knowledge. Samshaya, doubt. There should be a doubt. There should be a purpose, Prayojana. There should be an illustration or example, Drishtanta. There should be a theory behind that. Avayava, parts of a logical sentence, Tarka, Nirnaya, Vada, Jalpa, Vitanda, Hetva, Vasa, Chala, Jati, Nigrasthana. See, you need to write this 16 Padarthas. I hope this is already there in your notebook. So I will not describe that. And it is also available in the textbooks also. Please go through that. And some terminologies are there, which has been, because Nyaya Darshana is behind Pramana Shastra, or it is also called by Pramana Shastra. Your entire second paper comes here. So you need to narrate it very diligently. I am saying it that you need to write it very diligently. So you need to be very, very particular. Particular in the sense Prama, true knowledge, Pramata, a person who is eager with curiosity to get the knowledge. Pramana, the tool which is applied to get the Prameya, object of true knowledge, isn't it? No. So you have by hearted these slokas. Do not think that it is there for only second paper. So if Nyaya Darshana describes all these things, isn't it? No? So you need to write it under this Pramana, Pramakaranam, Pramanam, Pramiyati Anainiti Pramanam. See, this is dual benefit. So you are benefiting in your second paper also, you are benefiting in your first paper also. So likewise, that which helps for true knowledge is Pramana. So 4 Pramanas are there. You already know this. So you need to write Pratyaksha Pramana. You need to write definition which is given by Nyaya Sutras. Do not write Charaka's description, because you are writing the answer for Nyaya Darshana, not for Charaka Samhita. So you need to write Indriyartha Sannikorsha Utpannam Gnanam Avyapedesham Avyabhichari Vyavasayatmakam Pratyaksham, and you know probably you know the meaning of that also. Moving on to the next one, Pratyaksha Veda. Nirvikalpaka Pratyaksha, Savikalpaka Pratyaksha is from the Nyaya side. So you need to write this. It is very important. Then Laukika Pratyaksha, Alaukika Pratyaksha. Under Laukika Pratyaksha, Bahya Pratyaksha, Abhyantar Pratyaksha is there. And this Laukika Pratyaksha is Indriyartha Sannikarsha. He is with the Indriyartha Sannikarsha. And this Shadvida Sannikarsha, you already know this. And you need to describe this Shadvida Sannikarsha. It is available in a textbook called as Tarka Sangraha. And it is available free online. You can go to Google. You can download it in your own language also. Please download it and look through it. The entire Padartha Vijnana is there in the Tarka Sangraha. And you can, I am sure that you will be getting benefited from it. And moving on to the next one, Alaukika Pratyaksha. You need to write like this only. Alaukika Pratyaksha. You need not, do not describe much more. Samanya Lakshana Pratyasati, no need of description much more because you will be running short of time. Jnana Lakshana, only you have to write the headings. Jnana Lakshana Pratyasakti, Yogaja Pratyasakti. That completes the Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, right? Anupaschat Miyati Gnayati Yati Anumanam. So Linga Lingi Gnanam, isn't it? No? Sadhya and Hetu, the relation between these two. So you can see this picture. So Yatra Yatra Dumaha Tatra Tatraha One Hihi, isn't it? No, this is a proposition. So you need to write the two types of Anumana, Swarthanumana, Pararthanumana, and Panchavya Vakya, isn't it? No? And that Panchavya Vakya, you can give one example. So you can write it here itself. So instead of statement or just statement, you can just write it. So Panchavya Vakya based on Kala, you can Purvavatanmana, Sheshavatanmana, Samanya. See, only the headings you need to write. After that, Hetwabhasa, just headings of the Hetwabhasa, the Panchavida Hetwabhasa, you need to write it. Then Upamana Pramana, just give the heading and plus give the definition of Upamana as per Nyaya Darshana and write the types. Likewise, Shabda Pramana. So Aptopadesha Shabda is a definition given by Nyaya Shastra and you need to write that plus write the types of Shabda Pramana. And this is not only the 4 Pramanas which is told by Nyaya Shastra. Karya Karanavada. So you need to write what is Karana, how many types of Karanas are there, what is Karya, isn't it? No? Also, you need to write about the Pitarapaka as well as Asat Karyavada. So then your what answer for this Nyaya Darshana asked for as a part of 10 mark will be completed. I hope I have done a small justice to Nyaya Darshana, how you have to write and what are the components. I'll just go through Nyaya Darshana once again. These are the synonyms. So you should know how where this Nyaya Darshana is concerned. It is concerned with the correct knowledge. And then this you need to write about 16 Padarthas and you need to detail it. Detail in the sense, one word you need to write it. Then after that, so write about the terminologies, Pramana, Pramata, Prameya, which you have studied in your second paper. But be sure, make sure that you are writing from Nyaya Darshana. Don't write from Charaka Samhita. Okay. So that part you need to be very careful. Then what is meant by Pramana? Pratyaksha Pramana definition, types. Then similarly, Anumana Pramana, types as per Nyaya Darshana. Okay. Then Hetwabhasa, because Hetwabhasa is one among the important concept of Nyaya Darshana. Upamana Pramana, definition, types. Shabda Pramana, definition, types. Karya Karanavada, what is meant by Karana? How many types of Karana? Then Pitarapaka, Asad Karyavada. So your presentation completes here. So I hope I have taken a little more time. So without wasting time, I'll just stop it here. And probably if time permits, I may can share much more things. Thank you, Sharath.
Thank you, sir. It was a very nice presentation on darshanas. Like for students, it is very useful how to present for the exam. Now I will request Dr. Vindhya M. Hegde. She is working as assistant professor in the Department of Samhita and Siddhanta in Alvas Ayurveda College, Mudubidre. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharat. Namaste all.
I
Can you hear
request
me?
I request Arhan sir for sharing the PPT. Ah, yes, sir.
Guruvadi Guna has been asked repeatedly in exams, mainly for 10 marks or 5 marks. Sometimes individual Guna will be asked for 2 marks. I have collected important questions from old question paper and I will highlight how to present those questions in exams. So I am focusing on Guruvadi Guna today. Okay. Define Guna, write it classification and explain Guruvadi Gunas in detail. Guru and Lagu Guna for 5 marks, Snigdha Guna for 2 marks. In exam, you may get question, define Guna, classification and explain Guruvadi Guna. Then first you have to write 3 definition, classification and then you have to write about Guruvadi Guna. But sometimes you may get questions like explain Sharirika Guna. Then you should not confuse or panic. Sharirika Guna refers to Guruvadi Guna. Based on marks, you should write answers. If it is asked for 10 marks, then you have to write introduction, synonyms, shloka, individual guna, explanation, and utility of Guruvadi Guna. I will give you few examples related to Guruvadi Guna and how to present those questions in exam. Okay, let's see. Explain Guruvadi Guna in detail and its importance in Ayurveda. First, you have to write introduction. It should contain synonyms, that is Sharirika Guna and Karmani Guna, Dvandva Guna and Vimshati Guna. They are 20 in number. After this, you have to highlight shloka. Guru Manda Himasnigdha Shlakshna Sandra Mradustiraha Gunaha Sasukshma Vishada Vimshatisa Viparyaha. You should by heart this shloka because this shloka is important. You have to by heart this shloka. Okay, after this shloka, you have to write Viparya of Guru Guna is Lagu Guna, Viparya of Manda Guna is Tikshna Guna, Viparya of Hima Guna is Ushna, Viparya of Snigdha is Ruksha, Viparya of Shlakshna Guna is Khara, Sandra opposite Guna is Drava, Viparya of Mradu Guna is Kathina, Viparya of Sthira Guna is Sara, and Viparya of Sukshma is Thula, and Viparya of Vishada Guna is Kichila. No need to write in sentence form. Important points are sufficient. Okay. After introduction, each guna can be divided into 5 subheadings like shloka, dosha, karma, and mahabhuta. And you can write or you can add udaharana also. I will tell you. First, each individual guna is divided into shloka, dosha, karma, udaharana, and mahabhuta. For example, Guru Guna, you have to write Yasya Brahmane Shaktihi. Okay, that is important. You have to by heart this shloka also. Once again, I will repeat Yasya Brahmane Shaktihi. Next is dosha relation with Guru Guna. It is responsible for Vatahara and Kafakara and it causes Angasada, Balya, Tarpana and Brahmana. You can write these points under Karma. And Mahabhuta, that is Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta. Guru Guna is present in Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta. Example for Guru Guna, Masha, Mahisha Kshira and Dadhi. Next point is Lagu Guna, Langane Laguhu. This shloka is important. You have to by heart this shloka. And next, second point is dosha. You have to write Vatakara and Kafahara. Karma. Lagu Guna is responsible for Lekhana, Ropana, Malakshayakara. And Mahabhuta present in Lagu Guna are Teja, Vayu and Akasha Mahabhuta. Example for Lagu Guna, Mudga, Laja, Takra and Ushna Jala. Third guna is Manda. Shamane Manda. You have to by heart this shloka because this shloka is important. And dosha responsible for Manda, that is Kafakara and Pittahara, Pradhana karma is Shamana. In Manda, Prithvi and Jalamahabhuta are present. Example is Dadi. Next is Tikshna. That is Shodhane Tikshna. You have to by heart this shloka because this is important. And next is dosha involved in Tikshna guna, that is Pittakara and Vata Kafahara. Pradhana karma is Shodhana. Mahabhuta involved in Tikshna guna is Agni Mahabhuta. Example for Tikshna guna is Maricha, Pippali and Shunti. Next guna is Hima, Stambhane Hima. You have to bahar this shloka. Dosha involved in Hima guna, that is Pittahara and Vata Kafakara. Karma, Himaguna is responsible for Murcha, Trashna, Daha and Svedaharam. Mahabhuta present in Himaguna is Jala Mahabhuta. Example for Himaguna are Chandana and Ushira. Okay. In similar way, you have to write Ushna, Snigdha, Ruksha, Shlakshna, Khara and Sandra Guna also. And Drava, Mradu, Kathina, Stira, Sara and Sukshma Guna also. And Sthula and Vishada Guna. If you are following this way, you can save your time and you can score more marks because you have covered maximum points and important points. So please remember this column so that you can score more marks in exam and you can save your time also. After this column, you have to write utility of Guruvadi Guna in Ayurveda. Okay. Guruvadi Guna are useful in the Chikitsa as well as maintenance of Arogya. It is not only restricted for clinical application, also useful for drug identification, medicinal preparation, patya and diagnosis of the disease. For example, drug identification. Kharaguna. Kharaguna will be present in Parijata Patra and Pichla Guna we can observe in Kumari Patra. Next point is diagnosis of the disease, that is Kafaja Kushta. Because of Snigdha Guna will helps to diagnose the Kafaja Kushta and Drava Guna will helps to diagnose the Bahusrava, that is Vicharchika, and Saraguna will helps to diagnose the Atisara. Next is importance of Guruvadi Guna in Chikitsa. For Vata Prashamana, Guru Guna is indicated. In Daurbalya, Guru Guna is indicated. For Kapha Prashamanartha, we can use Lagu Guna. In case of Daha, Murcha and Prashna, we can use Shita Guna. Madhura Tikta Rasa contains Shita Virya. For Pitta Prashamanartha, also we can use Shita Guna. In Shita Rutu, Ushna Guna is indicated. In Pitta Jajvara, Shita Guna is indicated. Next, Ushna Guna increases Pitta Dosha. Where Pitta Kshaya is there, then we can select this Guna. In Ushna Rutu, Shita Guna is indicated. Snigdha Guna is indicated in Vata Vyadhi. Balya, it increases complexion and brashya. While following Patya and Apatya, we should know about Guruvadi Guna. In Sthaulya, we should give Takra. In Rakta Pitta, Priyangu, Chandana, Jala, Shita are considered as Patya. Once again, it indicates Shita Guna. So, Shita Guna can be given in Rakta Pitta. In Prameham, Mantha, Kashaya, Yava, Madhu are considered as Patya because it contains Lagu and Ruksha Guna. This is about Guruvadi Guna. If you get question for 10 marks, you should cover all those things. Okay. First, you have to highlight synonyms. Then you have to write shloka. That is Guru Manda Hima Snigdha shloka you have to write. And you should know about that shloka. And individual explanation you have to write. You can write it in column wise so that you can score more marks in your exam. After that, you have to highlight utility of Guruvadi Guna in Ayurveda. This is about first question regarding Guruvadi Guna explanation for 10 marks. Next, I have selected one more question that is for 5 marks. That is Guru and Laghu. First, you have to write introduction. Same shloka you can write. That is Guru Manda Hima Snigdha Shlakshna Sandram Radhu Stiraham Gunaha Sa Sukshma Vishada Vimshati Sa Viparyaha. This is from Ashtanga Hridaya Sutra Sthana, first chapter. You have to bahad this shloka. First definition you have to write. That is from Hemadri commentary. Yasya Brahmane Karmane Shaktihim. Guru Guna is responsible for Brahmana Karma. And this is Vatahara and Kafakaram. Guru Guna present in Prithvi and Jala Mahabhuta. It causes Agnimandya, Angasada, Balya, Tarpana and Brahmana. Examples are Masha, Mahisha Kshira and Dadi. This is about Guru Guna. Then next is Lagu Guna. This is opposite of Guru Guna. Langane Laguhu. You should remember this point. This is responsible for Langana or Apatarpana in body. Laguguna present in Teja, Vayu and Akasha Mahabhuta. It is Vatakara and Kafaharam. Examples are Mudga, Laja, Takra and Vishnajala. After these points, we have to write importance of Guru and Laguguna in Ayurveda. For Vata Prashamana, Guru Guna is indicated so that in Vata Prakopa condition or Vata Vyadhi condition, we can use Guru Guna. In Daurbalya condition also, we can use Guru Guna. For Kapha Prashamanartha, we can use Lagu Guna. And in Sthaulya, we can use Lagu Guna. This is about Guru and Lagu Guna for 5 marks. Next, differentiate between Sthira and Tikshna Guna for 2 marks. In this case, you have to write 2 columns. In one column, you have to write Sthira Guna, and in one column, you have to write Tikshna Guna. First, you have to write definition or shloka, that is Dharane Sthiraha, you have to write. And in case of Tikshna Guna, you have to write Shodhane Tikshna. This is cause for Shodhana action. And in Sthira Guna, dosha is Kafakara, and in case of Tikshna Guna, this is Pittakara and Vata Kafahara. Mahabhuta involved in Sthira Guna is Prithvi, Mahabhuta involved in Tikshna Guna is Agni Mahabhuta. Karma of Sthira Guna is Brahmana and Karma of Tikshna Guna is Shodhana. Examples are for Sthira Guna, Bala and Ashwagandha. Example for Tikshna Guna, Maricha, Pippali and Shunti. This is for 2 marks. Next, one more 2 marks question, that is Pravrattir Ubhayasyatu. Then you have to write shloka. You should not confuse or you should not panic where they have asked for this question. This is from Samanya Vishesha Siddhanta. So that first you have to write shloka. Here shloka is important. Sarvada Sarvabhavanam Samanyam Vradhi Karanam Rasa Hetur Visheshascha Pravrattir Ubhayasyatu. You have to highlight Pravrattir Ubhayasyatu. Okay. Here Pravratti refers to Dhatu Samya or action. Ubhaya. Here Ubhaya refers to both Samanya and Vishesha, and Tu refers to Avadharana. And Samanya is always responsible for Vradhi Karana, and Vishesha is always responsible for Hrasa. Okay. After this, you have to write the relation of Samanya and Vishesha takes place only when Dravya comes in contact with Sharira, and it does not take place individually. Both takes simultaneously. Okay. Tu refers to Nishchayatmaka, that is Avadharana. For example, consuming only Samanya leads to Dhatu Vradhi. Once again, this leads to Dhatu Vaishamya. Consuming only Vishesha leads to Dhatu Kshaya. Once again, it leads to Dhatu Vaishamya. So, we should practice both Samanya and Vishesha. So, it leads to Ubhaya. That is, Ubhaya refers to Samanya and Vishesha. For Dhatu Samya, both the Samanya and Vishesha are taking place simultaneously. This is about Pravratti or Pravrattir Ubhayasyatu. For 2 marks, you have to write this much information. Okay. I would like to thank organizers for the opportunity. With this, I will wind up the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vindhya Hegde, for giving such a brief explanations on how to write answers for 5 marks, 10 marks and 3 marks. It's very useful for students. And now I will request Dr. Rajarajeshwari Madam, working as professor in Department of Samhita Siddhanta in SDM College of Ayurveda, Hassan. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'll just start my slides in just 2 seconds.
Sure, ma'am, sure. And I request students not to leave the WhatsApp group where everybody has been joined. Further updates of the program and upcoming events regarding Padartha Chintana will be given there. So please be in group and stay in touch for betterment of exams.
Is my slide visible? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. This is the fourth session of Padartha Chintana, an orientation for RGHS exam. So, you have heard to the experts till now, and they have been giving us various techniques and tips as to how to prepare for the final exam. Okay, so I'll be taking up on paper 2 the syllabus points related to paper 2. But at the beginning itself, at the outset itself, I want to make a clarification that this orientation program was designed with the intention of giving you an idea of how to prepare for the exam. So most of the contents that my presentation would have will not have the description of contents. I'm not going to explain you the contents. Instead, I will tell you if this question comes in your exam, how you have to plan your paper before the exam, how to learn it, and how to present it in the paper. So that would be my focus for second paper. So whole of the second paper or the content related to the second paper would not be discussed in the presentation. So shall we start? Okay. So this is the first slide, which most of our speakers have been telling you, right? We have to understand that any preparation of exam is just a mental exercise. Why I'm saying this is, most of us, when we are about to when we are about to appear for an exam or any other target in life, we always feel that the time is less, the content is more. How will I do it? But we should always remember that the content is same for everybody, all of you who are listening now, and also those who are not listening now, those who are appearing for the RGHS exam. For everybody, it is the same. And at the same time, the best of person who can utilize this time, the time duration also is same. They are not getting extra time for learning this. They are also having the same time, and the content also is same. So what exactly the examiners are trying to evaluate? They are trying to evaluate how best you have utilized this particular time in understanding this content and how best you have put forth in your paper. That's all the exam is about. So that's what we have to remember. The person sitting next to you also has the same time as you have. The content also is same for him as you have. So the only thing that matters is how well you are preparing yourself within this particular time so that you can present yourself better. So this requires a systematic method of learning, best utilization of time, a little bit of smart work, and how you are going to exercise and focus your entire mental process towards it. That's all is what is required. So what is expected from my session? So by the end of the session, you should be able to, there are two things that I expect from you. One, you should be able to identify the techniques to understand the syllabus in the view of exam. And the second is understand through illustrations how to prepare and present for the exam. There are only two things that I want you to know. What does it mean? The first thing is, see, when the syllabus is framed, it is framed with a particular intention. There is a connection between each of these syllabus points that are given. Maybe as a student, you may not be able to appreciate it, But you should know that the person who is framing the syllabus has some kind of intention for framing the syllabus. That means there is some kind of connectivity between the syllabus points. That's one. And this syllabus point, when you're learning for the sake of knowledge, then the method of learning is going to be different. And when you're learning it for the sake of exam, then the understanding of syllabus must also change. I will tell you how it should change later on. So you should understand, you should become more and more familiar with your syllabus. That's the first thing that you should start. Second is, the second objective in my presentation would be to give you some illustrations, some examples, some questions that most probably have been repeated in the paper till now. With those illustrations, I want you to know how to prepare before the exam and how to present in the exam. So these are the two things that my session would be dealing with. So the first point is to become familiar with the syllabus. The picture that I have put here is, see, even the person who has not read, this I'm telling as an evaluator, right? I have, like most of our experts here know that everybody, whether you have read or you have not read, when you sit in front of the paper for 3 hours, something you're going to fill. That's for sure. There are hardly few papers where the blank papers are given. Even the person who has not studied also is going to fill the paper. Now, in the whole lot of papers, there are so many papers that the evaluator has to evaluate. How is he going to decide that you have studied well? And what makes the evaluator put mark for your paper? That is only when you make a distinction, when you make the evaluator know that you have studied. And how you are going to do it? Your paper should be totally different from the person who has not read it. Right? It should not be general, it should be more specific. There should be such content which tells the examiner that you have studied, authentically you have studied from the relevant books. So that makes your paper different from the whole lot of that. So for that, what should be done? First thing is, go through the syllabus point. The RGHS syllabus, what is being prescribed for you, become familiar with those syllabus points, because there are some technical terms that are used. You will be listening to the class most of the time, and almost all the teachers try to tell you all the relevant terms related to that particular syllabus point in the class. But still, it is not possible for the teacher to cover every aspect of it. And also, even if they have covered, it is sometimes what happens is you may not be, you may overhear it. You might have neglected it. You might have not noted it in the class. So therefore, you should become familiar with the syllabus point. There are certain technical terms that are used in the syllabus point that you should become familiar with. Next is, go through the previous question papers and prepare your own question bank. That is mandatory. What does it mean? It just means that you have to rearrange your syllabus according to the question paper. I will give you some examples of the first chapter that I have taken up here. I'll give you an example what actually it means. So you have to go through the question paper, previous papers, and according to the syllabus point, you have to rearrange your syllabus points according to the question paper. And then you have to plan your answer specifically with the weightage of mark. You should know, over if you are seeing 10 years paper, you will understand that particular syllabus point is asked for how much mark, that you will come to know. And also you will come to know how many times it has been asked. So that will also tell you how important it is. And what are the different terms that have been used to ask the question, you will come to know. And also, what are the different ways the question is being asked, that you will come to know. So based on that, you can prepare your own answer in a very specific manner so that your answer will be specific to the weightage of mark. So you are reducing whole lot of syllabus content into what is required. You do not have to learn everything. You can reduce how much, what to be learned, and what are the contents that should be there within that particular syllabus point. What should be given importance, that you will come to know. And your answers should be pre-structured. What does it mean? You cannot read from the book right? You will generally, what is the tendency that we have is, for example, if there is a pramana pariksha, so you will read from the book, and you, according to you, you have read, you learn it also from the text, and then you go to the exam, and then you will see the question, and then you will try to recollect what are the points that I have read and how will I write it in the paper. There you are losing a lot of things, because you may be able to recollect all the points, you may be able to highlight all the points sometimes, but not necessarily always. Structuring the answer in the exam hall will take away a lot of time. You will not be able to complete the paper within time, and also you will not be confident enough to tell that whether your answer is right or wrong. So instead, what you can do is, if you have gone through the question papers, if you have understood how the questions are being asked on those syllabus points, then you can write your answer accordingly now itself. That means your notes that you are preparing for your exam is exactly a question bank with the questions, with the weightage of mark and the answers related to it, and thereby you are specifically writing how much ever is required. So in the exam, the only thing that is left out is to reproduce it. You need not have to think what I will write for this particular question. Here I also want to give you a tip, that those who feel that how many questions will be repeated in the final exam, with my experience, I would let you know that Padartha Vijnana is the most smallest syllabus that you have. You compare it with other subjects that you have in first year. You have Ashtangradya, you have Kriya Sharira, you have Rachana Sharira, and you have Samskrita. If you see the syllabus points, the syllabus which is minimal, which is very less, is Padartha Vijnana syllabus. This is not to boost you up, but this is the reality. And if you go through the question papers, you will understand that because the syllabus is less, most of the questions will be repeated. So therefore, your work is easy if you study it in a very systematic way. So with this, we'll go further. I told you how to prepare your question bank, right? So how to prepare a question bank? So this is one example that I have done on your first chapter of Part A, Paper 2, that is Pariksha Vijnaniyam. In that, there is a syllabus point as Ashtavidha Pariksha. There are 8 pramanas which have been given as a syllabus point. So what are the different kinds of questions that they are going to ask? So you have to prepare a table out of this. What you are basically doing is, in the first column, if you see, there is weightage of mark. So now probably it is for 3 mark. It was done earlier. So it is for 3 mark, this question is being asked. The question is Abhava Pramana. And this question has been asked thrice in the paper. 3 years this question has been asked. And what you are specific, how you have to structure your paper. If it is for short answer, what is expected is, you have to write a shloka related to it. You have to write the description for that, and you have to give an example. So this will fetch you complete mark. This will give you full mark. One more example we'll take up. The third column, if you see, there is Arthapatti as a pramana. That is how the question is asked. Or there is also one more way of asking this question in the paper, if you see, Arthapatti pramana and its inclusion in Anumana. That's how the question has come. So if you see how many times this question has come, for 5 mark, for short essay, it has come in 2011, 2, 5, 7, 10, and so on. That means, what does it tell us? It tells us that it's very important. So you have to study it, right? It has also come for 2 mark, or now it's for 3 mark in 2003 and 2006. So this kind of restructuring your paper, restructuring your syllabus according to the question paper will make you understand that what is the most frequent question that will be asked, what is the weightage of mark that is going to be asked, and if you, on the other hand, if you can structure your paper, if you can rewrite that, what should be written, if you're determining now itself, you're planning now itself, you're reducing half the burden that you have. Like for example, if it is for 5 mark, what you are supposed to write, you have to write the definition that is in the form of shloka, then you have to describe it. There are 2 types of Arthapatti, so that is what they are expecting, and then how it is included in Trividha Pramana. So if you write this much, that's what is the examiner expecting out of this question. Or if it is for short answer, then you have to just write the definition and one example. So thereby what you are doing, you are targeting your answers for both the kinds of weightage of mark. If you are learning for 5 mark, you are also learning it for short answer. But while doing that, you're also making a mental exercise that for 5 mark, this is what I'm going to write, and for 2 mark, this is what I'm going to write. So what you have to do is go through the previous question papers, understand your syllabus in the language of your question paper. So this is how you have to prepare your own question bank along with the structured answers, so that you will not think when this question comes in your exam, you can directly write what is asked. So we'll move on further. So that's how it should be done. Okay, there are so many things. Like for example, the short, long essay that will come on the first point is define pramana, explain pramana accepted by Ayurveda, and describe the importance of pramanas in Ayurveda. That's how it can be asked. Or there are other ways of asking this. Different opinions about pramana sankhya, pramana mahatva. These are different ways of asking the question. So if you know how the question is being asked in the exam, you will not get confused from where this question has come also. So you will become familiar with the question paper and you will understand the syllabus in the language of question paper. So once you have done the question bank, then what you are supposed to do is you have to write answers, structured answers for these questions. So I have taken a few examples. One is define buddhi and explain its classification. So generally it comes for short essay or short answer. The second question that I'm going to take up today is define some of the terms. So that's how the question will come. There are some terms. They'll say prama, pramata, pramana, prameya in short answers. What they're expecting is you have to define those terms. So how to write that, we will see. And also define pramana and explain pramana according to different scholars. So this generally comes as a part of long essay. There will be other question associated with it if it comes for long essay, or it can directly come as a part of short essay, or it can come in the short answer. So it has a wide variety of usage. So if you prepare for long essay and then make an underline statement of how you are going to present it for short essay, and then what you are going to write for short answer, you'll be preparing for 3 sets of questions in a single syllabus point. So that's how the preparation has to be done. So you have to do a little bit of exercise, but that will help you to do the smart work. Later on, it will be very useful for you. So first question we'll take up. So define buddhi, explain its classification. That's how the question comes. So what actually you have to do? First thing is definition of buddhi, you have to write. Immediately after writing this, put a chart. Put the chart of classification. Why it is necessary? If you put the chart, for you, the advantage will be you will not be missing any point. You need not have to scratch what are the classification. Instead, what you can do, if you have the chart in front of you, you need to just go on explaining those terms. That's all. So it makes your job easy. Second thing is, by chance, if there is lack of time in the end, if you have put the chart, if the evaluator wants to give some mark, because the rest of the questions you have attended very well, they want to push you and give additional mark, they will have an obligation to give the mark because you have put the chart. So they know that you know this, but just because you did not have time, you have not answered it. So you should give some space for the evaluator to put the mark. Evaluators generally do not want to fail students. Generally, the mindset with which the evaluator evaluates the paper is they want to pass, but they want some valid reason to pass you. So you have to give that valid reason. How you are going to give? You structure your answer, present it in the right at the beginning of your paper so that they will know that you know these answers, so therefore they can pass you. So chart of classification, if you put, it will help the evaluator to understand that you know it better, and also for you it will be easy to mark or easy to write later on. The next point that you have to cover here is describe each of this classification with an example. So we'll just go through some of them. So what is the definition that we all know? So what you are supposed to write? It is sarva vyavahara hetuhu buddhirva jnanam. So one of the common mistake that as students we do is we try to learn the shlokas and also the content in the given span of time. For example, if you have put a timetable for Kriya Sharira 2 hours, Rachana Sharira 2 hours, Padartha Vijnana 1.5 hours or 2 hours. So you have put a plan. And what you do within that 2 hour or 1.5 hour, you want to learn the shloka also, and you want to learn the content also. The problem is the time taken to memorize the shloka is more than to put the content, because the language is in Sanskrit. My advice to you is, don't learn the shlokas and the content at the same time. Keep a shloka book side by side. Whatever the content that you are reading, whatever the shlokas that you feel that this is necessary, that should be written on the book sidewise. You should write it in the shloka book. Now, don't spend time in learning the shloka now. Instead, whatever the shloka is there, understand the word by word meaning of it, and also based on that, what is the description that the shloka is giving. Learn that. So learn the content, learn the description. By that, what will happen? You will be able to cover maximum point within that stipulated time. Now, what about the shloka? What should be done? Because you are familiar with the language, right? English language is not so difficult as compared to Sanskrit. So you will, if you understand the meaning of the shloka, you can write it anyway. So that will not take a lot of time. You will be able to cover a lot of things within the stipulated time, and you will feel that you are progressing in learning. So that means you have covered more points in that 1 hour. So your confidence will boost up. You will not get fatigue. You will not feel tired of learning the same thing over and again and nothing you have reached. That will not happen. Instead, you will be able to learn very well, because you are learning just the content. Based on the meaning, you are learning the content. But what to do about the shloka? So you fix a particular time only to learn the shloka. So there is a method of learning the shloka that should be followed. So you will not be spending a lot of time in learning the shloka. So what can be done? You need not have to by heart the shloka. Remember that. You need not have to by heart. There is a method to learn the shloka. What is that? Don't put a lot of focus while learning. What you have to do is, you keep the book, you split the shloka into pada. For example, here, sarva vyavahara hetuhu. You put a comma there. Then, buddhihi vajnanam. You put a, this is the second part. So this shloka has 2 parts. It has 2 padas. So what you're supposed to do is, chant the first line for 4 times. By seeing, you need not have to learn. You need not have to by heart. You have to chant it for 4 times. What you're doing? Sarva vyavahara hetuhu, sarva vyavahara hetuhu, sarva vyavahara hetuhu, sarva vyavahara hetuhu. So if you chant it for 4 times, 5th time you try to see that without seeing can you say. That you can do. It's not a big thing. After that, buddhihi vajnanam, chant it for 4 times. By seeing. 5th time, try to do it without seeing. Now combine it and say for 4 times, and 5th time without seeing. So without putting a lot of pressure on your brain, you can learn the shlokas in this manner. Thereby, within half an hour, you can learn a lot of shlokas if you do it on a regular basis. If you have 1 month, if you have 2 months, if you are spending a lot of time, there are very few shlokas in Padartha Vijnana that needs to be learned. So if you're learning in this pattern, you can learn the shlokas without getting tired, without any mental fatigue, and without any confusion. You can learn the shlokas very well. Meanwhile, you will be learning the description part in the main time that you have kept for the syllabus. So this is how the subject has to be learned. So we were trying to understand how the question has to be attended. So first you have to write the definition, and then you have to put the chart. You have to put the classification chart. So immediately you put the chart. So buddhi has 2 classifications. It has smriti, it has anubhava, and further it is classified into yathartha, ayathartha, and on the other hand, it is classified as prama and aprama. Now, if you have put this chart, what all you have to answer? You have defined what is buddhi. So what is left out? You have to answer what is smriti, what is anubhava, what is yathartha, what is ayathartha, what is prama, and what is aprama. So these definitions you have to write. So if you are putting the chart, it helps you to understand what all you need to answer, right? So therefore, wherever required, the charts have to be used so that it will tell the evaluator that you know these things. If the time doesn't permit, if you can write in brief also, he will have an obligation to put the mark. And for you, you will not forget what to write so that the answer will become complete. So what you can do is, one shloka that is very familiar to you, can be taken up and the description can be written. So you have to write what is Smriti, then what is it, you have to describe, and then that completes your answer. So the same thing goes for Anubhava, Yathartha and Ayathartha. So these are some pictorial representations that I use in the class so that it becomes easy for you to understand, right? So that in the later classes, if required, we can deal in this fashion. The subject, when we, if in the later classes, if you sign up to this particular program, then if required, this can be elaborately dealt with the picture so that it becomes familiar to you. So then is what is Yathartha you have to write, and what is Ayathartha you have to write, and what is Prama you have to write, and what is Aprama you have to write. So thereby you have completed the answer. So don't think that how many pages of answer has to be written. Nobody is asking you to write pages together. What they are expecting is, based on the question asked, how specific are you, how relevant have you written the answer. That's all it matters. So if you have written the relevant content, the examiner will be more than happy to give the mark. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. Like for example, for a short answer, how to do. So some of the common terminologies will be asked, like Prama, Pramata, Pramana and Prameya. So what you have to do is, you have to define it, preferably with the shloka. Always they expect the shloka, and you have to write the shloka, you have to describe it, and you have to give one example. Now, there are people for whom, even after trying, it's very hard to learn shloka. I think the percentage could be less. There could be 1 or 2% who have some difficulty. So if it's very difficult to learn the shloka, then at least technical terms have to be used. Technical terms have to be learned. So we'll see one example how to do it. So we'll take up the example of Pramata. So what you have to do? You have to describe it. What is Pramata? You will write the shloka. Tatrayasya ipsa jignasa prayuktasya pravrittihi sa pramataha. You understand word by word and you write the description. Now for somebody for whom this shloka learning is difficult, don't try to learn tatra yasya sa pramataha. This is not required. What is required is ipsa jignasa pravrittihi. These are the terms that the examiner wants to know, that you are aware of it. At least those technical terms if you write, and then write the description very well, they will give the mark. So wherever required, identify those technical terms which are indicating the answer, and if you write the technical terms also, you will get the mark. But there is a difference. If you write the shloka, they will blindly put the whole of the mark. If it is for 3 mark, it's very easy for them to put the 3 mark. But if you learn only the technical terms, probably half or 1 mark would be reduced. So, but if it is very hard, then this is the technique that can be adopted. So these are the other things that the other definitions. The third example that I want to quote here is, define pramana, explain pramana according to different scholars. Generally, this question comes for long essay, or it can come for short essay, or it can come for short answer. If it is coming for long essay, this will always be associated with other questions, like, for example, the other pramanas will be asked. Like, for example, define pramana and explain aptopadesha. Define pramana, explain pratyaksha. So there will be associated question with that. So this alone will not come for long essay. If it is for short essay, this is how the question comes. Define pramana and explain pramana according to different scholars. For short answers, different pramanas according to different scholars will be asked specifically. Like, for example, pramanas according to Charvaka, pramanas according to a particular scholar. So then you have to write only that much. So that is sufficient. So this particular question will come for a long essay, it will come for a short essay, and it will come for short answer. So what you have to do here is, define pramana is asked. So therefore, you have to start with the derivation or nirukti of the pramana. Then you have to come to the definition. So definition, at least 3 definitions you have to write. At least 3 definitions which are most relevant definitions that should be written. And the next is, you have to put a table of different pramanas according to different scholars. And then 1-line definition of each of the pramana with 1 example. So nirukti, this is how pramiyate anena iti pramanam, that's available in the text. So you are writing the nirukti, then you are going to the lakshana. Any of the 3 lakshanas can be written. Okay. And additional, if you want to show that you have studied extra, so then you have to add some more points, like for example synonyms of pramana can be written, because not everybody writes it. So if you are writing, then the examiner will feel that okay, this person knows something extra, so I will give some additional mark to it. So now different pramanas according to different scholars. I want to give you a technique here. So how to learn when some things have to be memorized. So what we can do is, what generally we can do is, so there are 8 pramanas accepted by philosophies, and they are called as Ashtavida pramanas. So what to do is, first, either you can have a group activity with your friends. So you need 13 volunteers for whom you are giving a name. Like for example, you call on 13 friends of yours. One, you will call him Charvaka. The second person, you call him Vaisheshika. The third person, you give him a name Jaina. For fourth person, you give him the name Bodha. So what you can do, the person whose name is Charvaka, he will try to remember the pramanas accepted by Charvaka. The person whose name is Vaisheshika will remember the pramanas accepted by Vaisheshika. So in this way, that particular person will try to recollect the number of pramanas accepted by that particular person. Later on, what you can do is, you can play a game. Randomly, you can call each one of them and ask what the pramanas that they have accepted. So if you play this game, you will remember Charvaka, who is your friend basically now. You will also know how many pramanas that they have accepted. It's easy to remember. When you have a personal connection with the subject material, you will have a better memory of it. That's what I wanted to tell you. Or you can give names to your family members also. You can call somebody of your family as Charvaka, Vaisheshika, Jaina, Bodha. If you do it twice daily for 1 week, you will learn it without much effort. You call your brother Charvaka, ask him twice what are the pramanas accepted by him. He will tell what are the pramanas, and that will be easy for you to learn. So these kind of activities will help you to learn the subject in a much better way. This is what we do here in the class. So that will be easy for them to learn. So these kind of activities can be planned so that you learn it better. Otherwise, you will have to sit and learn Charvaka 2, Charvaka 1, Vaisheshika 2, Jaina 2, Bodha 2, and so on. So it will cause a mental fatigue. You will become very tired and bored immediately. So to reduce that, these kind of activities can be planned. So this is what we do. And you should remember that it's very simple. It is adding 1 or 2 over a period of time. Like for example, Charvaka only 1 is told. Vaisheshika, Jaina and Bodha, because we'll make them friends for the sake of activity. And we'll say they have added 1 more. So that is Anumana. So therefore the number is 2. Sankhya, Yoga, Ramanuja are friends. So they have accepted only 3. So it is Shabda. So in this way, the addition only you have to remember what is that they have added and what is the total number. So that becomes easy to learn. So these are the techniques that you have to follow. And after writing this, so first you started off with the nirukti of the question was define pramana, explain pramana according to different scholars. So what you did a derivation, you did a definition where 3 lakshanas you have written. You have put a table of pramanas according to different scholars. Right? The last thing that was left out was the definition for each one of them. So it's easy because the second paper is completely related to it. So there is pratyaksha. You have learned one definition of pratyaksha. Write it with an example and your answer is complete. So there is no point that the examiner will cut off the mark, because this is the most relevant answer that they are expecting from this particular question. So these were the 3 examples that I have taken, how to plan out your syllabus content according to the question paper and how you can structure your answers. So most of the students for second paper say that Ayurveda Itihasa is the most difficult syllabus point. I think the most easiest is that one, because if you learn in a very systematic way, 25 marks are already in your pocket because nobody can cut that mark. So what you can do is, first thing that you have to do is, if you see the first half of the Ayurveda Itihasa syllabus, there are description about the text. There is a description about the text. But the problem that is there in the syllabus is, they have randomly given the authors. They have given according to the time period. They have not given according to the text. What is the best way to do is, you segregate the authors according to the text. Like, for example, you take Charaka Samhita. Now, Charaka Samhita, whoever the authors are related to Charaka Samhita, you rearrange your syllabus point. So you start from Atriya Punarvasu, then Agnivesha, then Charaka, then Dridabala, and the commentators related to Charaka Samhita. So you segregate them, you put it in one place. Then Sushruta Samhita. So you have Dhanvantari, you have Sushruta, you have Nagarjuna, right? So you rearrange the authors according to the text. What will happen is you will be learning according to the text, so that is how the questions will come in the paper. It's not according to the author. The question will come according to the text. And if you segregate according to the text, a lot of things become easy for you to learn, right? Okay. So that's the first thing that you have to do. Second is, now you have collected the authors, right? So you rearrange the authors according to the time period. That means who comes first? The teacher comes first. So there is Atreya Punarvasu, and then there is Agnivesha, then there is Charaka, then there is Dridabala, and the commentator. So what you do, according to the time that their existence was, you have to rearrange the content. So what you do, you make a time, chronological table of time. So, and also what is the credit that they have. So you have to make a table like, who is the preceptor? Preceptor is the teacher. Atreya Punarvasu is the teacher. In front of him, you put the time and you tell him what is his position. His position is he is a teacher. He was a preceptor. The next person is Agnivesha. What was he? He was an author. And what is his time period? Then reductor. There were two reductors, Pratisamskartas. So one is Charaka and the other one is Dridabala. Write the time period of Charaka, write the time period of Dridabala. So by this, if you write like this, you are easily understanding the content and you will have an idea of who comes first and who comes later. So it will not be a problem to remember. And next is description regarding the text you have to write. Like, for example, for Charaka Samhita, how many sthana are there? How many chapters are there? That you have to prepare a table. And few specialities about the text. At least 5 points, what specialities that text has, if you can write. Now, this much content is for 5 marks without lying anything. Most of the time, what they will do is, Atreya, his father was this person, his mother was this person, he was born in this place. Nobody is interested to know who his father was. If you want, you can add afterwards. But basically, what they're expecting you to tell is, what is their time period? What is their contribution in writing that particular text? That makes you different from the person who is simply lying in the paper. So if you structure your answer, if you write it in a systematic way, without seeing much, they will give the mark. So your answer should be more relevant and specific. So rearrange the content according to these points which are relevant in a very systematic way. So other syllabus point, the second half of your syllabus has committees. Once again, what can be done is you can do it in a tabular form. As I told previously for Pramana, you can also identify few friends of yours and give them the name of the chairman. So for every committee, there is a chairman. So identify who that person is. What are the points that are required? One is why that committee was needed, why it came into existence. There are 2 or 3 points that are there in the text that should be written. The next column should be of recommendations. There were few recommendations those committees would have made. Few points regarding the recommendations if you make, and also how much of these recommendations were implemented. If you write this in the tabular form, and if you assign a person, a friend of yours, and ask him to repeat it daily as an activity, if you do it, as a play, if you can do it, it's much easier to remember. It will not take too much of time. So group study in this case is very important. Next syllabus point that generally is asked is globalization of Ayurveda and Ayurveda in Sri Lanka. From so many years, the only questions that come on this particular syllabus point is, one, they will ask very generally, what is globalization of Ayurveda? That's all, for 5 marks. Or the most changed question that they ask is Ayurveda in Sri Lanka. That's all they ask. So what you can do is brief historical significance. Like, for example, in prehistoric, pre-independent era, which were the countries where Ayurveda was spread? Briefly, very brief, that you should write. And what is the present day situation? Where all Ayurveda is recognized, that you have to write. And finally, what are the specific developments? More often they ask is Sri Lanka. So what are the specific developments related to Ayurveda in Sri Lanka? So that you can write. In general, wherever the practice is allowed, where it is considered as an alternative system of medicine, those things, those few points for 5 mark, roughly about 1.5 to 2 page is more than sufficient for this particular syllabus point and nothing else. So the next syllabus point is institutions and some major bodies. Like for example, when I say institutions, some national institutes are there, or some governing bodies are there. Like for example, CCM is there, CCRS is there. So that will be asked, and some of them, like some of the committees are also there, like pharmacopoeia committee and all that. So basically, what you have to do is you have to arrange it in a tabular form. So what you should do is, what was the time when it was constituted, when it came into existence? That time you have to remember. There are certain vision that is available on Google itself. So what are the vision that this institution have? What was their vision for starting this? And what are the contributions made? Few points related to all these three aspects, if you write, it's more than sufficient for 5 mark. Again, this should be done in a tabular form. It's easy to learn. If you make a table, it's much easier to learn. So these were the things that I wanted to highlight. If you have any queries, you can ask. I would like to thank the organizers, and I hope that this program continues to make it more effective. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for a very nice presentation. Many of students will be definitely getting the idea on how to present and further details. Arhan sir, can you please share the screen? So I want to inform all the students that this program is not getting end here.
Sharath, wait. Rajeshwari madam has not stopped presenting.
Yes.
Let us. Oh.
Students,
Sir, I have removed the presentation slide.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
as many of the students are requesting that, sir, this was very useful, but we want detailed descriptions of the each topic because we cannot attend the online classes on the corona holidays. So here is our new program launching for those who are not well versed with the subject. The presentation what we did till now for 2 hours is for a general guidelines to all the students who have prepared or students who cannot prepare for this short time. So let me brief about the next program, that is Padartha Chintana 2.0. It will be a 12 days program totally involving 24 hours. It will be organized only if 50 students are registered and maximum student allowed is 80 students. Each student will be assigned with a mentor to clarify their doubts and guide them as per their abilities. And the registration fee for this program will be 500 rupees. And for registration, you can contact the WhatsApp number 876-224-2151. And the program involves 2 hours a day. That's there will be 2 classes, one in the morning and one in the evening for 1 hour. There we will be going detailedly on questions asked from each syllabus point and how we are going to write in the exam. Actually, for this Padartha subject, there will be 2 aspects. One will be the content which you have to by heart, and the second one is the conceptual part which you have to remember and write in the exam. And for this, 1 hour will be guided for you with the contents which you have to by heart and the techniques to remember them. And the evening hours we will be dealing with the concept so that you can have a clarity regarding the subject. Second is covering each point of syllabus with orientation to exam. Individualistic approach by mentors. All the students who will get enrolled for this 12-day program by paying 500 will be assigned with a mentor, and they can have personal chit chat with them in WhatsApp or call, and they can get solve their doubts. And assessing the level of student. All students may not be having equal abilities to write in the exams. So our mentors will be first assessing your level, whether you have finished all, whether you have read it for once or not, and based on your level they will be guiding you individually. And here in this we will be solving question papers and sharing important notes and techniques to write in exam and guidance till the day of exam. And all the experts will be with you for those who will be attending Padartha Chintana 2.0 till the date of exam, and students can clarify their doubts with experts. So once again I am telling, please join this 12 days course, because within 2 hours we cannot make all the students attend the uh, all the syllabus points. And here is a brief introduction for our Padartha Chintana. The whole intention of this program was to realize you that passing Padartha is not a difficult thing. Passing Padartha is very easy, and you have to put the right efforts and use right techniques to pass the exams. So tentative date for Padartha Chintana 2.0 will be from January 9th till January 20th, and you people will be having exams in February. So you have lot of time to prepare well, and each syllabus point will be guided for you. And if you spend 2 hours for Padartha in a day, other time you can spend for other subjects. So there will be no issues with the reading of other subjects. So, on behalf of Team Aptas, I would thank all the expert, Dr. Chaitanyam, Dr. Rajarajeshwari Madam, Dr. Arhan Sir, Dr. Vindhya Hegde, and special thanks for all the students who helped to promote this event to all and made this event successful. More than 130 students have watched this in Google Meet and also in YouTube. So I thank all the students, and please don't leave the group, and the further updates of the program will be given in the group. And many are requesting to share the PPTs. Definitely we will do that for the students who will be joining for Padartha Chintana 2.0. So once again I thank all for the success of the event, and with these words I will give an end for this. Thank you one and all. And let's do reach Ayurveda to each.